morning, South Florida, and welcome to the breakfast at the Brooklyn Cafe TV.
Take a deep breath and a good whiff of that coffee brewing. Grab yourself some toast, a donut, or any breakfast as Dawn and Freddie get you up and ready for the rest of the day.
So call in at 888-565-1470 to share a tip of the day.
Or just to say good morning. Shake off your sleepies, buckle in, because it's showtime.
And welcome. I don't know where the bell is. It's somewhere around here.
I think it's on the other
Welcome to
set.
the morning. The what?
The other set.
Welcome to the morning brew. What other set? I got this set.
You got that set?
It ain't up there either.
You got that set, this set, and this set, and that set.
That's it. Anyway, good morning to all our friends out in. Nice speaker. Nice.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Happy Thursday.
I have a lot of stuff I want to touch base on today.
Well, some things you can and some things you can't.
No, it has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
That-
Good morning to you. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, crew. Happy Thursday, Double R. Happy Thursday, Slick. Happy Thursday to the ladies that worked very late last night on some pieces that
Yes.
they're putting together for some new clients and new sponsors. And we've got another guest coming in next week I'm excited about. And, you know, just when you think that things are maybe going back to normal,
They're not.
there are people that are not. I just saw the jobless rate is up in Florida.
But what do you think is going to be down?
Pick a number. Any number. It's
Millions.
like, pick a card. No,
There's over 3 million unemployed right now,
no.
or 30 million, whatever. it is.
206,000, just about 500.
Okay, and
That's a lot of people in the state of Florida to be unemployed.
okay, let's
We
start.
went from a 5%
Let's start from-
unemployment rate to over 12.
I can't even believe you're entertaining this conversation.
I'm not. I'm just saying.
You know, you just had a virus where everybody stayed home.
I know.
And they lost their jobs because businesses are closing,
I know.
or they're furloughed, or yada, yada, yada. Well, what do you think is going to happen? There's going to be, everybody's unemployed, right? Everybody's unemployed, but it's coming back. What you have to look at is the number of coming back, not the number of left. So,
I want to see that number. Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Thursday. We got a busy day ahead of us. You ready?
do.
You ready to rock and roll, my friend?
you let me know when I can do my
Do your thing.
thing.
Are you going to send me down a sad rabbit hole?
No.
Okay, promise.
But I want the guys to make sure you guys have mics on this one. I want all input on this thing because this is something that it's going to maybe disturb people. I don't mean it to disturb anybody. I'm asking a question. Okay, I'm asking that question because I feel very uneducated this morning. I feel that I don't understand some of the things in the sports world right now. I just want to talk about the sports world. I am not an ignorant man. I understand what's going on around us, and I completely understand it and agree with it. But a couple of incidents happens, and I want to ask my fellows in here, my guys and girls. One of the things that happened yesterday was that Drew Brees decided to come up in the middle of all this and talk about how he doesn't believe kneeling during the national anthem is fair to the flag, not to the cause, but to the flag. And what happened was
What
that
does that mean, though?
Okay, and this is my question. And what happened was even his football players, his teammates, got so upset with him for doing that they ran in the streets of Louisiana yesterday, F. Drew Brees. Now, I want to put this in perspective. I'm not defending Drew Brees. I don't even know him. I think I respect him as a football player. I don't understand. This is a man who's done a lot for Louisiana, gave up $5 million for the coronavirus out of his pocket for the cause. I understand that. Some football players that came forward said that Drew Brees picked the wrong time to say what he said because they are putting together what the gentleman from San Francisco did, which in my estimation really started all of the awareness.
Right.
Awareness, I'm saying.
Well, what did he say?
Who?
Drew Brees.
He says that he doesn't believe a player should kneel during the national anthem because his two grandfathers in World War II fought for this country's freedom. And everybody's coming out and saying that
Why does that upset you, though?
Well, I'm going to get to that. But everybody's saying that he's ignorant to the fact that they are blasting him. And he went and he spoke to the gentleman, his own teammate, safety of the Saints, and he put up a very violent, angry, not violent, very angry video, and then took it down and put up another one and said that Drew Brees just doesn't understand what's going on. But anyway, the safety from the Baltimore Ravens, which happens to be an all-star and a respected man in the community, he called him a sucker, for lack of a better word, and that Drew Brees doesn't get it, and that he will, and people are never going to forget this, and yada, yada, yada. The problem I'm having with this is maybe I don't understand the difference between kneeling and what's going on around us. Maybe I don't understand it. Maybe Bree doesn't understand it, because I think that he was trying to separate the two. Aaron Rodgers came down heavy on him. I mean, it's coming out all over the place. Aaron Rodgers went arm in arm with his Packers football players as the same thing. What Drew was asking, can't you do the kneeling either before the anthem or after? Can't you do arm in arm? Can't you come out on the field and do the
Well,
protest
let me ask
that
you a
way?
question.
Yeah.
Why is this a thing now?
Because it's in the this has been building. This is not a today problem. If anybody thinks that this problem existed just because
Why
of
did
today,
he just come out with this today or yesterday?
well, what happened was
We're not even in football season right now.
well, what happened was is none of the the NFL has a silent rule that they don't talk, because there's some stuff going on in the NFL.
We got some stuff coming up
There was
tonight,
a player from the Seattle Seahawks who was in Las Vegas, and he was attacked by the police and slammed to the ground and everything else, because they thought that he was somebody else. And he's a big guy, and he kept telling, listen, I'm a football player for the Seattle Hawks. Here's my driver's license, check me out. And they didn't listen. They didn't listen at all. Again, this is not a problem about today. What I don't understand is that if somebody makes a mistake or says something that is being interpreted differently, Drew Brees is entitled to his opinion as well. Right, wrong, and different. He's entitled to say, listen, I would not take a knee during the national anthem because I have beliefs of my grandfather dying and yada, yada, yada. For the players to come down on him is my question, is that fair? Is it fair? Actually, I was just... Turn on his mics, please.
I was actually just about to say, honestly, I don't think that's fair, and I think the police officers are really overreacting about all this when it comes to...
No, but I'm not talking about the police officer. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking about the football players. I want to stick tightly knit, because I know what's going to happen is everybody's going to bleed this into 100 different ways. I want to talk about the NFL player. Is it fair for people to judge him because he has an opinion, I guess is the question.
No, it's not.
Is he allowed an opinion?
Of course he is. Everyone is allowed their opinion.
What do you think?
He's allowed his opinion. It's just at the time right now, especially after because I was just reading not another, but a protester just got killed by a cop, and they didn't tell us until yesterday
Right.
that the person died. So he's entitled to his opinion, but at the time right now, Drew Brees, I understand that you're frustrated about the whole situation, but you just can't say, oh, yeah, this is the proper way of kneeling, when I would say Colin Kaepernick actually explained.
I wanted to leave the name
why
out,
he
but
was
yeah.
Colin Kaepernick explained why he was kneeling. He wasn't kneeling off disrespect of the flag.
Correct.
But just for attention because of police brutality. So it was kind of like a good opinion, but wrong timing, Drew Brees.
Teddy, what do you think? Or Valerie? I know they don't have mics, but they have the mics
With
in
his
studio.
microphones in studio.
Yeah.
I agree with Gene. There was a lot of peaceful protests that went on when people were extremely reprimanded for it, and they were given a lot of consequences for this. And it wasn't just Colin Kaepernick. There was a lot of soccer players, men and women U.S. soccer players, a lot of other sports who were kneeling, and they were getting reprimanded. But that's peaceful protest. That's, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And there were so many more peaceful protests that were going on that, again, they were getting reprimanded for and getting in trouble for, that it's not a surprise it led to this.
Well, he still has not been signed, and there is collusion in this thing. And no NFL team. I wanted the Jets to sign him. The guy's a good player. He's not a great player, but he's a good player.
Well, did you hear what Teddy said?
I did.
Which part?
I heard all of it. But then
It's just another part of another, it's just another way of peaceful protesting. This
Of
is
course.
exactly where we're sitting right now
But-
in this space.
Yes, but my question then, and I think that Slick touched on it, appropriate timing. He had an opinion, and he's paying a price for that opinion, which is unfair. It's unfair that that kid is not playing. It's just dead unfair. But he
Drew
had an
Brees or Kaepernick?
Kaepernick. But it's unfair, okay. And that's another wrong. But let's assume his opinion counts, right? I mean, he did what he did because he had a right to voice in our free country an opinion. So my question is, does Drew Brees, who's the opposite of that, he believes you should
Well, let
stand.
me ask you this.
Yeah.
If one of our crew had an opinion that was so opposed to what we believe in,
He has a right to have it.
does that mean we have to employ him or her?
Absolutely.
We have to keep someone in our
I
employment?
don't keep anybody because of their political stance. I keep them because they're great workers. It has nothing.
So was he let go because of his political stance? Or was
Absolutely.
he let go
He was not
because-
re-signed and
Was
no
it just
team was
because
signed.
of that one incident? Or was it a
that
bigger?
one incident, honey, has
But wasn't
changed.
it a bigger situation, Slick? Than him just kneeling? Didn't it, it was a whole, it wasn't just he chose to kneel.
Well,
It
it's
was a
what he
much,
said and why.
okay.
Yeah, but that's all. It started with the kneel.
Yeah, it started with the kneel, and then what is it? He got a lot of flack from the press saying, "Why are you kneeling?" And then people are saying you're disrespecting the armed troops. He's like, "I'm not disrespecting them." He blatantly explained like where's he's coming from and what he's seeing as professional football star. He's like, I should take my stage and point my opinion like on the correct way, because a lot of people, especially in the NFL. I mean, you see the whole coalition of people going behind Drew Brees. I feel like everybody has to take a stance. So
That's right.
Can I ask something? I know a lot of people were talking about that maybe, of course everyone's entitled to their opinion, but it wasn't the right time. But I gotta ask, during all this, is there a right time to bring this up?
Good question.
Yeah.
I think if you ask somebody who
Is
is
there ever the
walking
right
in the
time?
streets, it's 200 years late. We're going to get into the next part of this thing because I think what Slick is touching on is opening the door to other parts of this conversation. Teddy, we got a phone call? Yeah, we do. Hold on. Okay. Because I also want to bring in about the Sacramento Kings announcer. Did you read about this? He was let go of yesterday. Okay. Caller, who is it?
It's Kenny Love.
How are you, Kenny
Good
Love?
morning, Kenny Love.
Great. You couldn't have woke me up to a better conversation about love.
Well, you are an amazing man walking around giving out flowers. If we had more Kenny Loves in the country, I think we would have less problems.
Well, I was listening to your conversation and I was reading this post. Black, white, or brown, we are all the same. We are human. Let us unite and love even more. We're all human. We're one race, the human race. And if we could just love each other unconditionally, to me, that's the answer.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, so stay right there, Ken. Don't move. I want you to hear this next piece that I'm going to add.
His ears must have been burning because you were just saying we need Ken on the show, and
I'm
there
gonna
he
tell you,
is.
I've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning disturbed with this stuff because I don't know. I want to get educated. I want to learn. I really do. I'm being sincere. Gentleman from the Kings, the announcer, been with the team over 25, 30 years, announcing basketball games for the Sacramento Kings basketball team. He made a comment. Somebody said to him, well, how do you feel about what's going on? He says, to me, all lives matter. Okay. I don't want to take it out of context. That's what he said. The basketball players, including Weber, who's a big basketball player in the day there, said that this man was a racist back when, and they had told the team. They call him a closet racist. He said all lives matter, and all the basketball community is outraged, saying, you don't get what's going on.
When people say all lives matter, the overwhelming response is, if you can say that, you don't understand the statement.
Exactly.
That is what's being
It is
said.
suppressing Black Lives Matter when you
That's
say
what people are
all
saying.
lives matter. Okay, so that's part 2. And we're going to get your opinions on this. I'm going to give you part 3 before we do.
You got Ken on the phone.
I got Ken on the phone. That's part 2. Part 3 is there's a gentleman that was in Star Wars, the actor, and he was, I think, in France or Germany, although he's well known all over the world. And he came out supporting. The cast of Star Wars is also supporting his deal, and they say, good, good, good. But he understands, he says, this is the end of his career.
What's he supporting?
The marches and the riot, not the rioting, he didn't say rioting, the marches and the protests and equality and justice and all that. And he's out there, he's screaming on the megaphone, yada, yada, yada. But now he's saying this is probably the end of his career, just like the football player. So my question about all of this, first of all, when you're in the public domain, you and I, we now have to be careful of everything that is said, because I think that what Slick said makes a whole lot of sense. It's the first thing I gotta say that I've heard today that makes sense. It's about the timing of when you say what it is. 10 years ago, if you said all lives matter, then it would be taken differently? Is that what we're saying? Is that what, this is the question, is it timing, all lives matter as opposed to Black Lives Matter, as opposed to Blue Lives Matter? Is it a timing? Am I missing the point? Because I'm not trying to suppress what's going on.
Ken, what do you think? You're out in the community.
Yeah, so this is great. So I was speaking to my African-American friend yesterday about this conversation, and I have a march tomorrow called the Everyone Matters Love March, where we're going to give out roses to the African-Americans. And he said to me, Kenny, you can't say all lives matter right now. It's got to be Black Lives Matter. And what he said to me was, you're not seeing a white guy with a black cops kneeling on his neck, killing him, and then all black cops surrounding him. You're not seeing that. What you've been seeing is that unarmed black men are being killed by white cops. And what he was saying is the black community feels that it's Black Lives Matter because blacks are the ones who are getting killed. And blacks have been the ones from the very beginning since slavery who have been under this like siege, this like suppression. So he was saying, if I say all lives matter, it's like he got so angry. He said, Kenny, that's an insult.
I didn't know, Kenny, I didn't know
to the
that.
black people.
I didn't know that. I'm going to be
I didn't know it
very
either.
honest. I didn't know. But this gentleman out in Sacramento, I don't know if he's a racist, a closet racist. Let's put that to the side for a second. But I don't want people to think that I'm ignorant to the fact, like LeBron James is calling certain people ignorant. Some other basketball players are calling people ignorant. If you say all lives matter, you're not in touch with the issue.
And I don't think people say that to be insensitive. I think they're trying to be inclusive, but not reeling understanding the sensitivity in the color, how that comes across.
Exactly.
If you are African American, if in the black community, people are not realizing how they feel. We're trying to be inclusive of everyone. They're saying, but you don't understand. Like during the Holocaust, when 6 million Jews were killed, if you said other people were killed also, yes, they were. However, 6 million of our people were killed, and we take this to heart, just as the black community is taking this to heart to another level, not to discredit the fact that other people have been killed during the Holocaust, but that is what stands strong in the Jewish community.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Dawn, it would be like during the Holocaust, we say, 6 million Jews are being killed, and we go, all lives matter.
Exactly.
Jews would be like, that's not what's happening right now. So,
Right.
I mean, that's just a comparison.
Right, it's just a comparison.
Again, yes, all lives matter. We're trying to be inclusive and just love everyone. It's just the way the blacks see it is just that it's so insulting and angry. They get so angry and it's so insensitive. So, I mean, look, I look at the world that we love everyone, that we're all just human beings with hearts and blood and brains. We're all just human beings. It's just the opinions and judgment come in because of the labels. If you go black, white, brown, all of a sudden you're separating us. So, again, to me, love is the answer. And the one thing I did when I handed out the roses and I handed it out to the African Americans, there were a few white people who said, well, what about me? And I just kept handing it out to the African Americans. Now, that's where the all lives matter come in. They're like, well, what about me? But what the black community is saying is that's insensitive. They're not getting the oppression. They're not getting what's really going on, the racism.
Well, that's a good point. And Slick, you just taught me something today, because I've been trying to figure out how to have the conversations. Like, Ken ran into people, well, what about me? right now, I think that what I just learned from Slick is that the rose that Ken is giving right now has to go in that direction. It has to be in the give. It has to be from the elbow so that you understand the pain on the other side. This country, still in Virginia, some places, they have statues to the Confederate armies. And some of those things, like in Louisiana, have been taken down, too much protest. But why? Because it's symbolic of some of the hatred that went on in this country, okay? I get that. I understand that. I understand that that stuff has to be removed, things in its place. I just like the statues. I didn't realize all of the things that was
What it
symbolic
stands
of
for.
knowing this, so I educated myself. I think that what I want to do today is I want to extend a form of education to people to understand that it is a timing issue. It isn't about giving the white rose to a white person who says, what about me, all lives matter. That's not, we're missing the point when you do that. But you're not doing it because you're ignorant. You're doing it because you don't understand the amount of sensitivity that we are under right now. Now, let's flip this to the other side for 1 second. Police officers work protecting us against criminals. They have their own protocol. They are taught to do things a certain way. Do those lives, in their opinion, not mine, not yours, in their opinion, do their lives matter when they go in face criminals with guns and knives and everything else? Because they're going to come back and push and say, well, what about my life? Does that matter?
I can't even believe, I have to tell you, I'm trying to stay quiet because I can't even put the words around it, that this is even a conversation that people would think one person's life matters more than another. Everyone has family, everyone is
Life
connected.
matters, yeah.
Life is what matters, and it makes me cry. That this is even a conversation is appalling, hurtful. I mean, you find the right word, but this is not what mankind is about. This is not what humanity is supposed to be about. Do we need to be educated? Yes, and have these conversations. But think about the concept behind this, that should be such a primitive ideal of everyone is human, and this is humanity and mankind, and we are supposed to be there to support each other. But yet, this is where we're at right now.
Well, you got people that have to learn what you feel. I think that's the biggest deal. People have to learn to feel.
And I
again.
think maybe if I'm having a hard time expressing this in words, this is where we're at right now in the demonstrations, because you can never find the right words because it might offend somebody.
You got to watch what you say.
You got to watch what you say, but people don't mean it offensively. So how do you express yourselves? It's the same creativity, some paint, some talk, some write, some march, some protest. Rioting is a whole nother side of it. But if you can peacefully share your ideas, maybe that is why this is happening, because no one knows how. There's no right or wrong way to share what you have to say, but it's educating
That's
mankind.
a good point, but this is exactly what I'm bringing it to the crew. And I'm looking, and I'm asking to learn. I'm asking to learn about the sensitivity. Listen, when my father was in this country growing up as a Latino, I saw a lot of bad stuff. And I don't talk about it because that's my personal stuff with my dad. That happened to him in our community. You know, half of my family are Cacique, they're black. And I know what they went through. I get it. I understand that. Did it affect me directly? Yeah, as close as my father will be. But I think, and I'm asking, is asking permissible? Can I say, listen, I need to learn more. Can you teach me more without people getting mad at me? Without saying, you're
So, Freddie-
ignorant, you're blind, and you're this, you're that.
So, Freddie, the way I say it is, I love you.
That's true.
So
I mean, there's nothing
my
simpler than
black
that.
friend, I said, I love you, brother. I love you. He goes, I love you, brother, too. And then we had a conversation. Just say, I love you.
So maybe that's what's missing is the conversation, the education, the conversation,
And the love.
and the love. But
Ken,
anyway,
I love that your show is tomorrow, because
it's needed.
the one thing that is resonating across all of this is if we can spread love as much as we can spread discord and hate and frustration and pain, if we could actually spread love as one word, right? All these other words seem to have so much more strength right now than love. Ken, what you are doing is so important, and that message needs to get out more and more. And we say that every week, and every week it gets stronger. And this is the message that needs to get out.
That's right. We have to make sure that we understand that we are all in this together. It's funny, I was telling Dawn at the beginning of the week that the virus, which killed over 100,000 people, I thought was going to turn the corner. I thought we were going to work with one another. I see how the kids in here reacted, how they work with one another, and they put on their mask, and they look out for each other. I thought we were turning the corner. I really did. So some idiot does what he does, and that's a whole different story. I don't even want to get into that. But when it starts affecting the NFL and Major League Baseball and everything else, these are role models that kids are looking up to. I mean, you guys ever grow up saying, I wish I was Hank Aaron, or I wish I was Babe Ruth? I thought I wanted to be Tom Seaver, because I thought Tom Seaver was the greatest pitcher I've ever seen. I wanted to be him.
Remember when? Times are simpler, but yet they weren't simpler. You look back on these memories and you go, remember when?
Right.
When, what years were those players that you're remembering? I want baseball.
60s and 70s when I was.
So what did we just come out of at that
puppies.
point? We just come out of a
Racial
horrible,
riots, again,
a
I get
horrible
it.
war
In the
and
60s.
riots and
Kent State and everything, I get it. Listen,
so we
I
look
get
back
it.
and say, I wish it was that, because somehow our mind seems to remember only, it's why sometimes we've got more than one kid, because we go through childbirth multiple times. Because you remember the good versus the bad, which is why sometimes you have to hold on to the bad. You have to hold on to the Holocaust so it doesn't get watered down. You have to hold on to this moment and how people are feeling so it doesn't get watered down. But yet, you want the memories of the good. It's not an easy balance. Life, I know, life is not simple and life is not fair, but maybe it's not even a maybe, you are right, we need to spread more love.
It is, and it's all about timing, the way Slick was saying.
And
I think
Jared,
in
yeah.
delivery. There was another incident, a gentleman who was an up-and-coming announcer doing tennis. And Venus, the tennis player?
Williams.
That's her name, right?
Uh-huh.
Venus Williams, one of the greatest tennis players in the history of all mankind. She was being aggressive and defeating her opponent. And there is a tactic called guerrilla tactics. And the gentleman used that phrase on the air. ESPN fired him 5 hours after the match. Fired him. He never meant it that way. If you look in sports, there are certain tactics. But I'm learning today, I think that what Slick just said, timing. He should have picked his words wisely because of the timing of what's going on. I don't think he even knew he said it. I think it was just, he was so caught into the match, the way she was dominating this person, and she was attacking the net and everything else, they explained it, and they fired him. And I'm going to tell you something. Jeff DeForest, I was listening to him this morning, and Jeff DeForest brought me into the radio business over 12 years ago. It is because of Jeff DeForest that I sit here today. And he is on iHeart, and he is the beast of sports. And he said the same thing this morning. I'm not a stupid man, but apparently I'm missing the mark here. Are we oversensitive?
Well, look what happened to Megyn Kelly. Haven't heard from her again since. She did not, I don't think, and I don't know, I don't have a relationship with her. I don't think she meant that as a derogatory term.
But don't you, because of the way she had led up to that whole incident, did she not mean it that way?
I don't know how anyone on a national spotlight could come out and say anything in a derogatory term. How can you come out and degrade anyone with the gift, if you have the gift of being in the public eye and sharing information and space,
You got to watch what you say.
you watch what you say, and I don't know how anyone can actually do that.
Well, LeBron James said something about China, didn't he? He said something about China?
Yeah, he did. He was talking, I don't know, I don't remember the exact details what he was saying about China, but I remember he was going into that, and
And they burned his picture.
Right.
They burned his jersey. The NBA was in an uproar about something that he said. But I think it has something to do with democracy or something, and that he was siding with somebody. And again, it was taken out of context.
Wait,
Because
I
he
was-
said, wait a minute, you're blowing all this out of proportion. So the bigger the star you are, the bigger the voice, are you able to
I think the
explain?
bigger your responsibility
But
to,
are you able to explain when people take things out of context? Is that a fair assertion or no?
it's hard when you're a celebrity because, like you were just saying, with the bigger the star you are, the more people is going to pay attention. So some of the opinions you have, even though yes, I think everyone should express their own opinion, sometimes it's just best if you. I hate to say it, but keep it to yourself because if you make one wrong move, especially as a celebrity,
gonna cost you.
Yeah, game over.
Well, let me show you something really, really interesting. Before
Okay.
I know you wanted to go. Slick, Teddy Unscripted, you got Small Talk with Valerie, you got Kenny Love Show. You guys all of a sudden are in the public eye, right? You got a show. You
Right.
are now doing your own deal on a social media platform.
Correct.
So yesterday you were just Gene, and today you're Slick. So all of a sudden,
I'm glad. Hold on.
You got
Tom.
your name.
Side
I know
note,
where this is
right?
going.
Yeah, I know, right?
well, all of a
side
sudden you
note.
got to be more responsible to what you, ladies and gentlemen, are saying, and your timing has become important, Slicky, right?
I like how you got my name right, but yeah, of course, my timing got to be right.
Well, your name is Gene. I wanted to brand you as Slick because I think you're the coolest cat. And you didn't like that. But the object, what I'm pointing out is yesterday, you were just Gene.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Teddy was just Teddy. Ken was just, Ken has always been Ken Love, but Ken was just Ken. So now that you're in
The
the
happy
public
printer.
eye,
Yeah.
things change. Your responsibilities now change. So if Slick says something and it's taken the wrong way, he has to back up and explain himself. Is that what this has become?
It's true, yeah, because even us, we're on like social media everywhere, like you name it, and so even us, we have to be careful. I mean, of course, not to sound like this, but we're not going to be as punished as much as LeBron James, but we're still on social media, and
Yeah, we
backfire
do
on
get
us,
that
too.
traction that people can go back and say, hey, Slick, you did say it that way. Why are you saying it this way in person?
Right.
And the funny thing is that I want Slick to go into the Creole and Haitian community because he speaks it. And I spoke to Leslie Jock yesterday, Slick. He says for us to come up anytime we want, and he'll give us a tour and yada yada. You could talk to one of the greatest icons in the history of radio in the Haitian community. But then you're gonna go to another level.
I have an idea.
I mean, we'll get there. But can you imagine 4 years ago in a day, 5 years ago in a day, Dawn was Dawn. Dawn went to work, she was an Uber driver for 15 seconds and got lost. And then today, what you say, it's a whole different weight. So I think, Slick, thank you for educating me today. I think timing also has to do with who you are in terms of the community. If you're going to be on Facebook, social media, and everything else, Twitter, and the president should learn this lesson. You got to be held at a higher accountability because you are a bigger voice. Not that you're a better person, don't get me wrong. It has nothing to do with being a better person. It has to do with having a higher voice, right? Negative people in our history had a higher voice. Hitler, Mussolini, all of those crazy guys. And I use the word crazily loosely, but all of those guys. But now I've come to the conclusion that we have to be careful. We not only have to be careful, are we allowed, and I'm going to put it out there, are we allowed to have people have their opinion on the air? If you get somebody in here that says, well, I don't believe in the protest, and let me tell you why, is that permissible on the air without backlash because it's an opinion? Is that allowed?
I feel like that's allowed if that's an element from like somebody either calling in, like Ken,
Or you don't want them around
voicing their opinion. But it's not like what is it on the narrative that you're trying to put out to the public. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I happen to agree in this case that like if you're gonna have an opinion about something, and we're all like at risk here, it's sometimes best not to say it.
And Ken, suppose one of your guests is upset, and they bring up, because he puts a lot of music on his show, and they bring up a song, a rap song, and I was getting educated yesterday from Slick about how rap music is really a story. And
Yeah.
the words sometimes, if you're, what is it, a word miser, what is it?
you're a
Wordsmith.
A wordsmith.
Wordsmith.
So sometimes you can hide a lot of anger and being upset in words, and you sort of change the words even though they're as powerful the way you're delivering them. So Ken, if you had a guest that had that kind of music on there, would you put it on the air? Ken, you still there? I think we lost him.
I think you lost them.
We lost him. Would you put him on your show?
For what? Say the question one
If
more
a
time.
person had a rap song and he was a word
Smith?
Yeah, just
Smith?
wordsmith.
and words were in there encouraging rioting, let's say, and protesting and burning things down, would you put it on the air?
I'll probably put a snippet of it, but like I wouldn't want to encourage the people that listen to me to riot. I'll actually go into like, why would you write a song like that? Why do you feel that writing is necessary? He probably will go and tell me a whole spiel on why writing is necessary. So I'll try to see him if I can bring him to the light of like what's going on with my narrative to actually reach a middle ground.
It's the conversation.
Yeah.
But each show has its own feel. Whether you believe in Fox or MSNBC or CNBC, they each have their own political stance and undertone of whatever that is. So each of those will have a different guest. And you might have the same guest on 3 different platforms, but the host and the undertone of the show is different. So
Now,
having Kenny Love on our show versus having Kenny Love maybe on, say, Fox or CNBC, it's going to be a different take because they're going to ask different questions.
But
It's
they're
going to
going
be a
to
different
paint
feel.
it differently.
Correct.
All right, that's the other question I have for you. The media gets to put on the protests and the rioting and anything that they deem to be important, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not supposed to give commentary about how they feel
Correct.
afterwards. That's what the news is supposed to do. It's not happening.
It's supposed to be delivering the facts.
But it ain't happening.
Facts are
Sometimes the
skewed.
facts are wrong.
Well, yes.
So all of a sudden,
Or,
fake
I
news
can't say
becomes-
wrong, they're skewed.
You got him back?
Or they're skewed.
So Freddie,
Yeah, Ken.
so it would have to be a love song, a love rap song. If there's a love rap song, it would have to have love words, love, spread love. And the other thing, when you was talking about baseball, you know, Jackie Robinson, it took till 47 for a black player to play
Correct.
baseball professionally. So that's what blacks remember, the oppression, that there wasn't a black player till 1947. And that's where all this is coming from. It's coming from way back when, slavery, the anger, the rage. And so, you know, we're not that's why my friend said to me, he said, we're not thinking like that. You know, we're not thinking, we have to think like a black person would think. And we can't. So he was explaining that to me. And the other thing I had a question, Slick, I have a question for you. Your real name is Gene, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah. Hello?
Is your nickname Slick?
No, my nickname's Slick, but my real name's Gene.
And who gave you the nickname Slick?
I did. I have.
Okay. So what?
I call him
So,
Slick
like-
because I have a problem with names. Every kid in here has double R, and we got my cousin Vinny, and everybody in here has a nickname. And then Slick Show, because of the way he is, his character, he's a very slick, cool cat. And his show, Slick Speaks, right now, is being heard everywhere. Everybody talks about Slick Speaks. Not because his name,
Okay.
that's his stage name is Slick.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it. You know, again, and then I thought about for myself, would I be called Slick? I get it. It was just a conversation that I was thinking, like, you know, this is the stuff that we put on all people, like certain types of stereotypes. And, you know, I don't know, Slick, what is it like for you? And I think of you as Gene. What is it like for you to be called Slick?
Me to be so slick, I mean, I don't mind it because like I have like the depictions for not depictions but like descriptions for friends saying like, yo, you're so calm, you're so cool, and I don't understand like why are you like this chill majority of your days. It feels like nothing bothers you. But in actuality, there's a lot of stuff that bothers me. It's just like, I don't know if my body expresses it the correct way, but I'm always in like a cool, calm state. I
a
don't
good
know
place
how,
to be.
and it wasn't even self-taught. Like it just happened. Like it just came up on me around like, I was like after graduation and then going into like the job market. Like I just had to create this whole state. I don't know how I did it. It just came upon like manifest destiny.
Well, I want to ask Ken. Ken, do you know Lady Gaga's real name?
No, see, that's a great question. No.
Now, Lady Gaga, they used to call her Gaga. In Spanish, Gaga means you're choking, blah, you can't sing. So she said, no, I am Lady Gaga. It is a stage name. Now, if you know Slick, he wears a hat, he wears shoes, that's the top and the bottom. Everything in between Slick is the best. This is class act A1. It isn't meant any other way. Slick knows that if he didn't like the word Slick, he changed it. He didn't like Cool Cat either.
Yeah, he gave me a first nickname. I definitely
He
didn't like
said
it.
no. But man, you dressed the part. You were the coolest dude in the house. Now, when I was growing up in New York City and I went to clubs, I saw everybody, the jazz players, they all called themselves Cool Cat. And I said, okay, that's what I learned. So when I expressed that to him, I didn't mean it in any other way, out of respect. I know Gene's first name. I know it. And when I got to use it, I do it. But his stage name is, he's the slickster. This guy is the coolest dude. Nothing bothers him on the outside. He could be a storm on the inside. But I just want people to understand, everybody in here gets to pick their nicknames. Double R doesn't like it. And the reason that Jared, I call him Double R, I couldn't remember the name Jared. And I kept pronouncing it with 2 R's. And you didn't like it at the beginning?
No, I didn't like it at the beginning, but at the same time, everyone pronounces it or spells my name wrong. So, like, for example, someone will spell it Jarod or Jarred or Jar, EED. Like, how many people get the name Jared wrong? It's crazy.
But in our world, it happens. So
Right.
Double R is a reminder to spell Jared's name correctly, damn it. Because it's Jarod.
See?
And
You know
it's
what I'm
a
saying?
good and it's
But
a
this
good
is why I call him
conversation
Double
starter.
R.
This is from the man whose spelling is all in capitals.
This is a man who can't spell his own name.
Can anyone actually spell my name right?
Now, my cousin Vinny, when I met Vinny, in my brain, I remember the movie, because it was one of the best movies I remember seeing. I remember Vinny being my cousin Vinny.
He's so busy editing right now, I don't even know what he's working on, but he's
And
working
then
very
Vinny now
quietly.
wears his hat. Everybody in here understands the nature of the beast. Like Kenny Love, his brand is his flowers, right? There ain't no man in the world. When I think of the Red Rose now, and this is a scary thought, I
think
think
of
of
Ken.
Ken. I think of Ken. When I think of Teddy Unscripted, I gotta tell you, Teddy would sit here and straight to my face tell me, no, you're wrong. And that's why I came up with Teddy Unscripted. And Teddy's never gonna hold back what she feels. She may deliver it nicely, but she's gonna tell you, step off, right?
Yep.
Small talk, which is with Valerie, I don't even know how she came up with that, but she whispers. She tells you the truth in her own language, and she whispers it. I respect that. Valerie, I have to remember her name because my daughter-in-law's name is Valerie. If I can't remember that, I'm in deep, 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 deep trouble.
True that.
And Dawn, I remember Dawn's name because I've been working with Dawn for at least 5 years, and there's 9 of them. 9 Dawns.
I
Dawn
know,
the
there's a
white
lot of us
chick, Dawn
floating
the this,
around.
Dawn the that. Can't remember that. I can't forget that
There's a
name.
lot of us floating around.
But it's a good point,
So-
Ken, that
so
you
the
brought
other-
up. Good point.
Well, here's the thing, Freddie. It's all out of love. See, you give them the names out of love, out of affinity, out of,
Always.
endearment, out of love. So, like, that's different. I just asked him, how was it for him? But Freddie, you're such a mushball, such a love ball.
You're such a much ball. Kenny, tomorrow 1:30, you want to join us on the show? We've got Patricia Dutch of Dutch Designs, the most beautiful flowers, and she's a friend of yours. So why don't you join us tomorrow at 1:30, and then we'll get ready for your show afterwards.
Okay, great. So I'll come over after, because my March ends. It may be 2, Dawn. Is 2 okay?
Come in over whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'll come in whenever I'm ready, between
Got it.
1:30 and 2. Okay, I love you guys. Love you all.
Thanks, Ken. Love you. Have a great day.
There you have it.
The
Okay, you
timing
too.
is everything, Freddie.
Timing is everything. Delivery is everything. I think.
But yes, you are at a higher level of how you deliver information.
And you know something? I never, ever saw myself that way.
Well,
I
we've been
didn't think
talking
anybody
about
cared what I
this
said.
for a long time, so I'm glad you see it because yes,
I never
what
saw
you
it.
say matters. People look to you, from our crew to our guests to our sponsors to new shows as a producer. What you say holds a lot of water, and how you say it.
You know, it's really funny. If you hit me with a hammer, I'm going to scream, ouch, it hurts. In my world,
No, you'll probably say something else.
well, I'll say something else. But in my world, being practical to me, I'm not saying logical because I think we live in an illogical world. Upside down seems to be right side up. I always told you, catch up because everybody else is passing us. And we're supposed to be logical. I never thought that anything I said was really mattered. I really didn't.
It's what you say, it's how you say it when you're having a bad day.
When you say it,
If you're having a bad day, people know it, people feel it.
you knew this, and you never told me.
I've been telling you, you tell me I'm wrong. So
Well, you know
eventually,
something?
catch up.
I apologize. You haven't been wrong. You're actually right. I'm getting educated because timing is everything. I didn't realize. Jeff DeForest today said the same thing. He says, "Wow, I guess I've been wrong. I make jokes on the air, and I guess they can be taken the wrong way." I mean, Ken didn't know that I gave Slick his nickname, his stage name, not a nickname, stage name, because I want Slick to be the most successful kid in here. I feel that way about everybody.
Well, here's how I feel right now. Slick's responsibility as being in the public eye right now has elevated to a whole nother level.
Well, there you have it. But that's what we want. Now,
It really has, because timing on Slick Speaks is at a whole nother level, because I don't know of anyone, Slick, of your generation that has a show that can be as powerful within your community with Haitian Creole. I mean, every which way, and this is who you are. You have good, better, and different. You have now a responsibility to the public on what you say, how you say it, and when you deliver it.
Correct, because I feel like I didn't even I have to change for like the name Slick. I feel like,
That's who
it
you
was
are.
manifest.
Well, what we want to do is we're going to get a hat. We're going to put a whole clothing line together. It's funny. I remember there was a time that I used to tell Dawn clothing line and pins and all these different wacky ideas that we talked about, coffee brand.
Vinny and I were just talking about that this morning, about my clothing line.
And Dawn, you squashed the deal. There was 4 clothing
Well,
line
it was a
companies.
business decision. It wasn't a branding decision.
Exactly. But there are other things that I want to put out there. And I can see Slick opening up a shoe store deal. I can see him putting a hat store. How many people have come to me about the hat stuff, and I turned it down?
That's the best hat you have. Teddy got you that for Christmas, right?
But
For
I
your birthday.
got people asking me to endorse hats, and I haven't done it simply because, who am I? I don't like the way it looks. to
Which
be
is one of
honest.
the reasons I asked you about that shirt again that you wear.
That's right. This is a
Again,
throwback.
Slick with the shirt. I mean,
This is a throwback. I thought Nesta was coming today. That's what
okay.
happened. This is a throwback. But you got to understand, this company helped me change my life. If it wasn't for this company, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
But the conversation continues because the past does matter. We move forward, but what's happened in the past is what makes us who we are. Those things of the past culturally is what people have to hold on to. The Holocaust, slavery, all of those things make people who they are now because it is passed through generations. And we live through our generations. What do you say? How many generations do we have within us?
A lot.
And that is what we live with. And you can't forget where you came from, but you can also hope to better yourself as we move into the future.
The morning brew, when you get up and you have your cup of, hopefully, Brooklyn Cafe coffee, you get
Oh.
up. Yeah, I know it's in there. The bags came in. We do have coffees to give out, and we're going to decide on how to do that. We were a little late to the draw today. But when you're getting up in the morning, you're having your coffee, and you're looking out there, and you're deciding what you're going to do with your day, just think that what you say
Matters.
matters. How you say it matters. As Gene said today, timing right now is everything. Timing should always be everything. I think that we should always be responsible for one another. And if somebody's teaching you the wrong things, it don't mean you have to learn them. It means you have to say, that doesn't make any sense.
Question.
And you question it. Do you know my first day at New York University, NYU, the professor got up there and he says, you're here to question everything about you and everything we are about to teach you, so don't take it for face value.
Question.
Question it. Don't fight and burn and loot, but question it, because if you question that, then it will fit your mold of how you think and make you a better human being. I never understood that until now.
Question and learn from it.
And I'm 58 years old, and I graduated when I was 19, 20. And here it is, 38 years later, and finally NYU came to me.
Take that tassel, let's flip it over.
But all of a sudden it came to me. I never understood what it meant until today. until this morning, until I see what's going on around me. And I gotta be honest, I was upset because, you know, I love my country. I love the United States. I love that flag. And if I had to go to war for it, I would. But now I understand timing is everything. And you're gonna have to put that conversation to the side and let the bigger conversation come forward, and let's have it. And let's talk about how to fix our broken country.
Got a lot coming forward. Nice conversation. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Jared, Slick, Vinny, he's doing some editing pieces. And
That guy's always working.
we got the girls on the board. Kenny Love called in. We've had a whole great lineup today. Slick, I got an idea for you at 11:30 maybe also. Slick Speaks comes to you at 10:30. Our show back at 12.
He's on today?
Uh-huh.
Oh, baby, I'm gonna be tuning into this. I told you I was gonna do something today to stir it up.
I don't know, but I can close my mic. But I have an element. My element is up.
His mic is off.
My elephant is up and running today, so majority of my show is gonna be like 6 minutes of
You
talking.
know, I gotta ask you a question.
Yeah.
What do we got? How much time we got left?
We're done.
Okay, I gotta ask you a question before we go. Before we go, the last 2-3 weeks.
Yes.
3 weeks. Would you
Okay.
say? I seen a change in Gene. Gene has changed. Something about you has changed. Your urgency, your demeanor, your timeliness, things about you have been more on point. Purposely, or is this just us getting to see the real you?
I would say a little both because like I felt like I was letting down myself on the urgency and like getting stuff out. I felt like I always had more time, and also like I had to do some evaluation for myself. So I'm getting into that. So it's basically a little both of what you just said.
I can
Because
see
I am opening up a little bit.
But I can see it. I can see a whole different Gene, AKA Slick. I can see a difference. I can see it in your walk, your talk. I can see it in your focus, your concentration. And he don't quit. You know, he messed up one thing, it came back the next day, it came back the next day, until he got it right. And what was the first thing he says? Perfect,
Boom.
on point, and boom.
Yeah.
Now he's got it. All right, well, tune into Slick Speaks this morning at 10:30. A lot of things coming up today. We actually have Commissioner Vice Mayor Bob Weinroth joining us today on the 1 o'clock hour. A lot of things to talk about, a lot of things going on in Palm Beach County and Boca Raton, things to benefit you. And I have a surprise for you. I'm going to let him announce coming out also something that you don't even, something you've been talking about, but you now do not have to create it. It has been created for you on a
Another one?
national level.
Another one?
You're going to really
Can
be
I take a
excited.
bow?
You're going to be excited about this one, so I'm going to hold this. And the date, I got to tell you, the date couldn't be more perfect. So stay tuned. A lot of things coming up your way. Give us a call. Let us know how we can help you elevate your business, share your ideas, be safe, express your voice, but do it with kindness and compassion for others.
And don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show is over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. Well, see you next time.